Why depth feels impossible now. It's not something that happened overnight. It's not a switch that flipped one day and suddenly everything changed. It's slower than that, more insidious. Like the way a river carves the canyon over thousands of years. You don't notice the change day to day, but one day you look around and the landscape is completely different. Thoughts that once would have unfolded slowly, connecting in unexpected ways, now scatter before they can take root. Emotions that used to run deep, shaping how you saw the world for days or weeks, now feel muted, like they're behind glass. Experiences that should leave a lasting imprint, a conversation, a book, a moment of beauty, pass by and fade almost immediately. Life is full of activity, full of noise, full of things to do and see and respond to. But somehow it feels strangely shallow, flat, like you're living on the surface of things, never quite diving in. And the hardest part is trying to explain it to someone. You try to put it into words and it sounds dramatic or ungrateful. Life is good, you tell yourself. I have everything I need. Why do I feel like something's missing? People around you might not understand. They might say you're overthinking it, that you should be grateful, that everyone feels tired sometimes. But this isn't just tiredness. This isn't just a bad week or a rough month. This is a persistent sense that the texture of life has changed, that the richness is gone, that depth, real, lasting depth, has become something you remember more than something you experience. Think about how you read now, for example. Remember when a book could pull you in so completely that hours disappeared? You'd finish a chapter and sit with it, letting the ideas settle, turning them over in your mind long after you close the cover. Now, even when you find a good book, it's hard to stay with it. A few pages in and your attention drifts. You check your phone, you think about something else. You tell yourself you'll come back later, but later never quite arrives. The same with articles or essays online. You start with good intentions, but the pull of something shorter, faster, more immediate is too strong. You skim, you get the gist, you move on. Depth requires lingering, and lingering feels inefficient. Or take conversations, real conversations, the kind where you talk about things that matter, not just what happened today or what you're planning for the weekend, but the deeper stuff, fears, dreams, questions about life. Those conversations used to happen naturally. You'd sit with someone for hours and time would disappear. Now, even when you try, it's hard to get there. Attention is divided. Phones buzz, minds wander. Someone checks the time. The moment passes, and the surface stays intact. You part ways, feeling like you connected, but a day later, it's already fading. There's no residue, no slow unfolding of meaning over the following days. Even emotions have changed in ways that are hard to pin down. Joy used to have weight. A good moment, a sunset, a song, a laugh with someone you love would stay with you, coloring the next few hours or days. Sadness or anger would demand attention, forcing you to sit with it, understand it, let it move through you. Now, emotions come and go quickly. Joy is a quick hit from a funny video or a nice message, then it's gone. Sadness arrives, but instead of sitting with it, you distract yourself. Scroll, watch something, talk to someone, anything to move past it. Anger flares and then is pushed down because there's no time to process it. Over time, everything starts to feel muted. Not numb exactly, but distant, like you're watching your own life through a filter. Relationships feel this shift too. You can be surrounded by people, friends, family, partner, colleagues, and still feel a strange kind of loneliness. Conversations stay on the surface because there's always something pulling attention away. A phone buzzing, a thought about work, a plan for later. Deep connection requires presence, and presence requires space. Space to listen without planning a response. Space to share without performing. Space to be quiet together without filling it with words or distractions. But that space is rare now. It feels awkward when it appears. So people fill it with small talk or jokes or phones, and the moment for real depth passes by. You leave feeling like you spent time together, but not like you truly met. Creativity suffers in the same way. Ideas that once would have unfolded slowly, growing in the back of your mind over days or weeks, now flicker and die. You sit down to write or draw or build something, and the mind jumps ahead to the next thing, or it gets interrupted by a notification, or it simply can't settle because it's not used to settling anymore. Depth and creativity needs time without pressure, time for seemingly unrelated thoughts to connect, time for the subconscious to work. When that time is fragmented, creativity becomes shallow too. You produce things, but they don't feel like they come from somewhere deep. They feel like output, not expression. Even simple pleasures lose their power. A walk in nature that once felt restorative now feels like background to your thoughts. Music that used to move you now plays while you do something else. Food that should be savored is eaten in front of a screen or while scrolling. The mind is always multitasking, always preparing for the next demand. Even when the workday ends, the mental workday doesn't. You carry it home. You check one last thing. You think about tomorrow. Rest becomes contaminated with low-level worry. Decisions feel heavier because there is no mental space to weigh options calmly. Burnout arrives not from too much work, but from never switching off completely. Relationships add another layer of complexity. Social media shows curated versions of other people's lives, creating constant comparison that stays in the back of your mind. Conversations are interrupted by phones or distracted by thoughts of what to say next to sound interesting. Intimacy requires vulnerability, and vulnerability requires safety, and safety requires presence. But presence is hard when attention is divided, when the mind is half somewhere else. Even leisure has been colonized by the same forces. Streaming services autoplay the next episode before you've processed the last one. Algorithms feed endless content tailored to keep you engaged. Leisure stops being restorative and becomes another form of consumption, another way to stay on the surface, filling time without filling the deeper need for meaning. The result is a life that feels full but strangely empty, busy but not meaningful, connected but not close, informed but not wise. You can go days, weeks, months like this without stopping to name it, because naming it would require depth, and depth feels impossible. But it's not impossible, it's just rare. It's just been trained out of us by a world that doesn't make room for it. The good news is that training can be reversed, not at once, not with grand gestures or perfect discipline, but with small intentional choices that accumulate over time. Start with one thing, one moment a day where you allow depth to exist. Read a page slowly without skimming or checking how much is left. Sit with the feeling without distracting yourself or trying to fix it immediately. Listen to someone without planning your response or thinking about what you'll say next. Walk without music or podcast, letting your thoughts wander without direction. Eat a meal without a screen, noticing the taste, the texture, the moment. Write without editing immediately, letting ideas flow even if they're messy. These moments will feel strange at first. The mind will resist. It will look for distraction. It will feel inefficient or pointless. That resistance is normal. It's the mind remembering what it forgot. It's the nervous system recalibrating to a rhythm it once knew naturally. With repetition, the resistance lessens, the moments lengthen, depth starts to return, not as something you force with effort, but as something you allow by creating space. Thoughts begin to connect again in unexpected ways. Emotions begin to land and linger. Experiences begin to matter more. Life stops feeling like a series of tasks to get through and starts feeling like something you're actually living. Something with texture and weight and meaning. Depth feels impossible now because the world's trained it out of us. But that training is not permanent. It can be noticed, questioned, and slowly, intentionally reversed. Depth is still there. It's waiting in the spaces we've learned to fill immediately, in the pauses we've learned to avoid, in the stillness we've learned to fear, in the moments when nothing is happening on the outside, but something is shifting on the inside. All it takes is choosing one small space, one moment, one breath, and letting depth begin again.